You know, I've been texting you this week about Trump.
I know. You've been like, hey, we gotta talk about Trump. We gotta talk about Trump.
This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents. Yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard, to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this. God bless the USA Bible, and it's just very important and very important to me. I want to have a lot of people have it. You have to have it for your heart, for your soul.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Gospel of Christ. If this is your first time on the channel, I invite you to subscribe and click the notification bell so you know each time we upload a new video.
Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country, and I truly believe that we need to bring them back, and we have to bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. That's why our country is going haywire. We've lost religion. All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. It's a lot of people's favorite book. This Bible is a reminder that the biggest thing we have to bring back America and to make America great again is our religion. Religion is so important. It's so missing, but it's going to come back, and it's going to come back strong, just like our country is going to come back strong.
I think I beat you to the punch. This past Sunday morning, I think I posted something. It wasn't really about Trump, but Trump was involved. It was the Biden who declared Easter as the visibility day of for transgender people, saying that they are America, which to me was kind of like a slap in the face. It was a slap in the face for Christians, and it made me wonder if that day was like a major day for Muslims, for instance, or Hindus, if he would do the same, as a religious group, right? If he would do the same, it kind of makes me wonder, but it shows you, a country whose money says in God we trust has this kind of Christian consciousness. If you as a nation, if you think about it, culturally, you could say that. Culturally speaking, we are quote unquote a Christian nation, but it was kind of like a slap in the face to hear this coming from a professing Catholic president. So then in that video, I showed Trump, about 4 years ago, who took the time, however you may treat him, as a baby Christian or false Christian, or somebody who was just pandering to
there's the word,
pandering to the Christian right. But he understands that there are certain things you just cannot do. You just don't do. And in the video, I showed him talking about Easter is the celebration of the resurrection of the Son of God, Jesus Christ. And to me, that was, encouraging to hear a leader. But we're not going to have Christian leaders. We're going to have leaders who uphold the law. They are going to punish evil and uphold what is good. And that's what leaders are for. We don't need to look for a Christian, politician, because it's an oxymoron. We're not going to have that. So I kind of beat you to the punch, man, but I'm going to let you talk about Trump. Well, because you've been texting me about it. Let's talk about Trump. So just before you start talking, I did make it clear to folks that I'm not a MAGA Republican or an anti-Democrat per se, because as a believer, I think when you fall into the trap of being, pro this and anti that, of course, I'm going to be pro what is good, what is biblical, and against what is evil. And whichever group represents what is evil, I'm going to be by default against that group. However, my message, the message of the gospel, is for everyone, wherever you are, whatever group you fall into. So I try to kind of like make that differentiation. But I know that a lot of believers, a lot of conservatives, they love Trump. So I'm going to let you go for it, man. And I don't hate him, just so you know.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I don't love him. I don't.
Fun fact, before he got elected in 2016, back when I lived in New York City, my friend and I, we used to watch every Trump rally. So it was to us almost like a comedy, a comedy special, like every night. In our mind, we're like, nobody's going to vote for this man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
And then things got serious.
They sure did.
And everyone, no one believed that this man could ever be president. They made fun of him, and I love his straightforwardness. He will he'll tell it to you like it is. You saw how I believe he destroyed Hillary Clinton during that last debate. It was the mic drop after mic drop.
Oh.
It was unbelievable.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think that there's a level of narcissism there. I mean, obviously, that is unparalleled.
Oh yeah,
I've never seen anything like it, to be honest.
I know.
He's a brilliant businessman. Brilliant businessman.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm like, how does he come up with stuff like that? And presidents, these people, they have writers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a few months ago, I was kind of laughing at people they're making parody skits about Kamala Harris's writers, like, but Trump.
That's word salad. I don't even understand what she says. There's not even a point made most times when she talks.
But Trump, though, it's like, how do you write for somebody like that? And sometimes when he's following the teleprompter, he would go for like a good 5 minutes off, and he's still coherent, funny, and then it's just.
Well, that's the thing. I want somebody that's coherent running our country, right?
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
I know that as Christians, right, we're supposed to pray for our leaders. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 and 2, respect those in authority, right?
Yeah.
And we got Romans 13:1. However, we must also discern their words and actions through the lens of Scripture, right?
Exactly.
We have to hold them accountable to biblical standards. But as you said, how do you hold a Joe Biden accountable to biblical standards when he's not following them at all? He has no desire.
No. Well, I mean, it's pretty clear when somebody tells you on Holy Week that Easter is Visibility Day. I understand that they came up with that date.
Yeah, really close to Easter, by the way.
Really close to Easter, and it happens to fall on Easter. I think you have to make an exception. When it falls, just let it happen. Don't say anything. Mm-hmm. You've already put it as an executive order. A few years ago, back in 2021, I think he did that to begin with. Which to me is a defiance of the law of God. First of all, because the days don't belong to you. And I was thinking about this, Matt. I was thinking about Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God says, "Let there be light." And then as we progress through Genesis chapter 1, God created and it was day 1, it was day 2, and it was day 3, and it was day 4, the 5, and on the 6th day, he rested. On the 7th day, he rested.
Right.
It shows you God. He's the one who defined the days, the epochs and the times, the periods and the eras. For you to come up and pick a day within the week and say this day is dedicated to something that is anti-God, anti-biblical, anti-Christ, anti-Christian, on a Christian holiday, on the resurrection of the Son of God, and to say that, I mean, what are you looking for? What are you asking for exactly? And
for everyone to fall into a reprobate mind. That's what that's what they're looking for. That's what they want. They want it to be followed. They want that to be followed. They want John MacArthur. They're speaking John MacArthur. They're saying John MacArthur's words in speaking about government and their initiative. And this being, for the first time ever, we have a tyrant. We have a leader that is a tyrant. And I don't know that he's the one really running things. I can't imagine that he is the one behind the wheel. I would imagine you've got Hillary, you've got other people behind him right now. And it's come out recently that people have said that they know he does not make the decisions.
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, that's really, really sad. And, there are millions of people who are blinded. They are just like, oh, this is the best president. This is this and that. In your mind, you're like, oh, really? Is he?
81 million people. I mean, how do you get 81 or 80? Is it 81 million votes?
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening in the last election. I mean, we're going political on this, but I just don't see how that took place. I don't see how that many people were that blinded by that. And now, the ones that a lot of people fallen off. Look, a lot of people have said, I can't get behind this anymore, even though I'm a Democrat. I can't. A lot of people will say, I can't vote for Trump. I just can't bring myself to do it. A lot of Democrats I know. But they'll also say, but I can't vote for Biden. So what do I do? Right? Where do I go with this? Because they don't feel that there's a candidate that is worthy of being, voted for.
Matt, when God abandons a nation, he gives them a reprobate mind.
Yep.
And he gives the leaders a reprobate mind. And not only that, when God abandons a nation, in other words, when God is judging a nation, God gives them sinful leaders, anti-God leaders who will make them suffer. This is a nation under judgment. That's the only way we can interpret that. Is just, it's a nation under judgment. You know what I mean?
100%.
Romans chapter 1, that's what we're seeing here. Verse 18. I think we talked about that before.
We have.
For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. It's interesting because it's God who gives this nation, its leaders, and the leaders that God is giving this nation as a sign of judgment, the ungodly leaders, the unrighteous leaders. And as is giving this nation those ungodly and unrighteous leaders, and this culture and this nation are falling further and further into all this ungodliness and unrighteousness, in the wrath of God is being manifested against that. It's a nation that is heaping up judgment after judgment after judgment. This whole thing is going down a path of destruction.
Absolutely. You see it every day. I'm now feeling this pain, this struggle, this strife as a Christian, as somebody who believes, as somebody who is grateful to have what I have and follows the word, to wake up and be told that I have to take courses to make sure that my behavior is in line with where my job is, and that I can assimilate to everyone in the right way. Apparently, there's 11,000 thoughts that come into your mind, or 11,000 images, and I forget how they framed it, but 11,000 every second or so. But you're only able to process about 11 of those or 8 of those images and thoughts that come in. And the idea is that they want to control what you think and how you feel about those thoughts and how you react to the other people around you. So unconscious bias is what they're bringing up, right?
Yeah.
And this is a big deal now. And it's hard as a Christian. And why I bring this up is, and this doesn't really relate to Donald Trump, but let's be honest here. We're kind of being forced to either, buy in or don't eat. I mean, we're going to come to that point. When are we going to come to this point, man?
Yeah. It's they're suppressing everything that is godly. They're suppressing the name of Christ. They're suppressing the gospel. And many people have complained now on Facebook, how even when you're sharing simple Bible verses, sometimes it does get suppressed. It's not done at a wide scale just yet, but it's something, it's happening. It's already happening, and many people don't know it and don't see it. But now, speaking of Bible verses, I think what you were going to say about Trump had to do with the Bible. I want us to get back to that.
Yeah, because he is selling Bibles. He's selling Bibles, right? He's selling this God Bless America Bible.
Is he selling Bibles because he's in need of money? I was thinking about that. I don't know. Is there an ulterior motives behind? Are there ulterior motives behind that? Or is there an ulterior motive behind it? But when I think about it, why couldn't he sell? Like he came out with a pair of sneakers, Nike sneakers, kind of like golden sneakers. Interesting to me. They look pretty cool. They look like boxer sneakers. So of course he came out with that. I think that got sold out immediately when it came out. I think. I don't know if you saw that. really nice
I haven't seen the
sneakers.
sneakers, but I'm going to look them up now.
Yeah, you can look him up. Really nice sneakers. Maybe we could kind of like share this
Yeah,
with
we'll put it up on the screen.
on the screen if you can find it.
Oh, those are cool. They're like totally American. They look like Rocky Balboa should be wearing these. Those are the gold Trump sneakers.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
kind of cool, right? I mean,
Yeah, it looks cool.
They look funky. They're like retro, like 80s.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know where I would wear that to unless I'm like performing on stage. I'm some artist or something, or
Don't wear those when you're preaching, okay?
You get spotted from a mile away, but they look pretty cool. So I mean, that's a good way, to, I don't know, does he need the money? Maybe
$200 a pop. They are $200. Yeah, they're expensive.
$200. Yeah, they're expensive. I think when he just came out with them, they went out of stock right away. But what this is though, this is kind of like a reminder that there was a president and this is something from him. I know that some presidents, they have like
books, libraries,
stuff like that. They have a monument or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like also wondering if he's going to have some monument at some point in the future.
I guarantee you he's going to have a monument.
I'm pretty sure the woke mob will tear it down.
He is so polarizing. I think that, you brought up pandering. Is that pandering? What is pandering? Pandering is gratify or indulge an immoral or distasteful desire, need, or habit, or a person with such a desire. So newspapers are pandering to people's baser instincts. Marketers pander to people's, basic instincts, those things that they desire and want, but maybe they can't afford.
Yeah.
Is that what Trump is doing here? Now, is he pandering? Is he pandering to the Christians now? Does he really believe any of this? Is he really in it? That's the real question here, isn't it? I mean, does he buy his own lines? Because I've heard him say, somebody asked him, which testament do you gravitate toward, the Old or the New Testament? He said, I kind of both. He's like, he doesn't have any specific reasoning why.
So here's the thing. Here's how I think about it. I don't think Trump's personality is someone, his personality. And by the way, if you're listening to this, folks, I'm just going off of the same data that you have, what we see on TV, right? And a lot of the times you wanna put your best foot forward. If you're a politician, you're not really going to wanna not disrespect people, but say certain things that would get under their skin. So somebody who panders, they would try and be nice. They're like a chameleon. If
tell
they're
you what you want to hear,
they tell you what you want to hear. But Trump doesn't have that personality. Yeah. Hence why I don't think he's really pandering. And if he wanted to come up with something to sell, why would he come up with the Bible? Something that represents God, right? The word of God. Why couldn't he come up with something else, right? He came up with the Bible. In my opinion, I think that's a really great move as a politician, somebody was running for president. It's a really great move to show that, okay, I want to sell Bible. Now, I don't know much about the Bible. Maybe you know much. What version of the Bible?
It's a version they created, and it's got the Constitution in it. So church and state in the book, I agree with you. I think that how could we as Christians say no to that? How could we say, oh, this is not a good idea? Mm-hmm. I'm absolutely going to side with somebody who is talking about the Bible and who is saying he's going to defend Christianity. This is an initiative that he's started too, where he says if he comes into office, he's going to make sure that a lot of what is happening now on these social media platforms, which you mentioned, these posts, these Bible quotes are being removed. There's an attack on Christianity. And apparently he wants, or so he says he wants, to try to figure out what that is, how that's happening, and start defending Christian rights. Mm-hmm. Is that pandering? Like you said, his personality doesn't pander. Does he need to be up there doing this? Does he have enough money that he could quietly disappear at this point and stop having all these issues? Or does he really genuinely care? Because I got to say, at times I sit there and I think about him and I say he's got to have some, serious will, because his life is in danger. There's no way there's not people out there with the people that have Trump derangement syndrome and all the things that we hear about that don't want to assassinate him.
So the way I'm looking at this, President Donald Trump, he's got two options.
Mm-hmm.
He either becomes president and not go to jail, or fails to become president and goes to jail. Because you see what's happening in New York City, how they're going after his assets. He just paid $215 million. $215 million for what exactly? You hear those like baloney accusations, man. And I try not get too involved in these things, but sometimes you cannot but wonder, why are they so afraid of this man? After all, he's
exposed a lot of truths. I think he's exposed a lot of truth. And that's where I'm starting to go to. I'm starting to think, hey, this guy doesn't care. He doesn't care if he gets in trouble. He doesn't care if he gets, maybe assassinated. He wants to expose the truth. And that's what I'm starting to see.
And the worst part about it is that he cannot be bought. Like, how much money you gonna give Donald Trump?
Yeah, go away. Yeah, here's
$1 million. Yeah, $1 million, $100 million, $200 million. How much money are you gonna give him to buy him? He cannot be bought. That's the other thing. And people hate the fact that you cannot be bought. And I was this happened a few weeks ago, actually a few months ago. Carrie Lake, they were trying to buy her. And she started recording the person who was offering her money right away. And she got the person to talk. It's like there's a group. If you start acting and voting and then drop out of the race, that's what he was offering her. And then they're going to ensure that you're good and all these things. And when the recording came out, they verified that it wasn't AI generated. The guy had to resign. So you see, there's people out there constantly trying to buy you, So I don't think that's what's happening with Donald Trump. And now, is it a good thing? This Bible, you said the Bible has the Constitution in it. What else is there?
It does. Let's just. I think I might have pulled a video on this commercial. He's got a commercial. Have you ever seen the commercial yet?
No. Can you play it?
I'm proud to be partnering with my very good friend Lee Greenwood. This Bible is a reminder that the biggest thing we have to bring back America and to make America great again is our religion. Religion is so important. It's so missing, but it's going to come back, and it's going to come back strong, just like our country is going to come back strong.
I don't have a copy of the Bible. I don't know what's in there. I don't know what version. Is it the KJV? The new KJV? Is it the NAS?
It's KJV.
It's KJV.
It is.
I was thinking it would be a KJV. It's a KJV Bible. So, I mean, out of everything that he could have sold, he's selling Bibles. America must pray again. I think that's a really great message. I think, we need leaders like that. Is he a Christian? I don't think he's a Christian. I don't think he's a Christian, but does he have this understanding, about Christianity? I think he does, much more than Joe Biden, who proclaims to be a professing Christian.
But does he think he's a Christian?
I think he thinks he's a Christian.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem too. But he's been saying that he loves the Bible. He reads the Bible for a very long time,
Yes.
And his advisor was, the problem I had with Trump when he was president. His advisor was Paula White. She's a heretic. Mm-hmm. And she's one of the worst false teachers out there, And I know a lot of people might not know who Paula White is. I've done videos covering her and her heresies before. She's in the leagues of the leagues of Kenneth Copeland and Benny Hinn.
Yeah.
In terms of false teaching. So if she was the spiritual advisor, I don't know if if she still is the spiritual advisor of Donald Trump, you know that he would never come to an understanding of what truth saving faith is, because those people, they don't understand what that is or what that entails. And I'm not saying that from a place of arrogance. And I always try to make sure I say that, because some people might think that I'm being arrogant or something like that, but no, it's because those people, they themselves don't believe what's written in scripture. So I don't know if Donald Trump has ever been to a Bible preaching church, a reformed Bible preaching church. And
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know if I can answer, answer yes to these things. So I don't think so. And even when you're running for president, there are certain things that you just as a Christian, you just don't do. And hence why I said at the very outset, Matt, to be a Christian politician, to me it's an oxymoron, because to
I
be a
agree.
politician, you're gonna
Mhm.
have to, like the Republican Party, for instance, they 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 agree with abortion to a degree.
Mhm.
They agree with same-sex marriage to a degree. Now, as can you be a Christian? I know if you're a Christian politician, you're never gonna be I don't want to say never, because there are those out there,
Right.
politicians that are Democrats and Christians, and their life, Christian life, and the Bible, those two things are night and day. So let me not say that. So a lot of the Christian conservatives, they tend to move toward the Republican Party. However, the Republican Party is anti-Bible and anti-God itself. So these are the things that we need to navigate as Christians in the world, and you need to understand, for yourself and for your sake, like what you're getting yourself into as you're start to dip your toes in the waters of politics. Hence
Yeah.
why I don't eternalize on stuff like that on the channel. Of course, I'm going to highlight them when there needs to be a clear biblical message to convey, but to me it's just really hard. It's just really difficult. Yeah,
It'd be
man.
hard to choose your friends wisely and be a politician.
Yeah, I did a
So
video. Sorry, were you
no,
gonna
no,
say something?
no. I was just going to say that it's no different than Mike Johnson. It's like Mike Johnson, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, I know you're a Christian, and I know you are into the gospel, and knows the gospel, like much more versed than President Trump here. But at the same time, are you using that as a means to elevate your status in government? Is it? I just can't see aligning with the Bible and the gospel and being able to, like you said, pursue a career in politics. They do seem very contradictory.
So you brought up a very good point. I made a video a few months back, and when I make those videos, I don't have hopes that they will age well.
I know, well, you can't predict the future.
Because this is why I don't get involved with politics, and I don't try and back up politicians or anything like that. Or when I make videos, it's because people change, their priorities change, especially when you are a politician. Their priorities change. The things that they say will change a few months down the line. You know, hence why if you're a content creator and you're on YouTube, you want to talk about something, spend your time, talk about the Bible, the truth of the gospel, talk about Christ. Christ is immutable, he's unchangeable. His character, his divine character, will never change from Monday through through Sunday, and it will always be the same. So your footing there is so sure. That's why we sing, Christ the solid rock I stand, on
Rock
Christ the
solid.
solid rock I
Mm.
stand. No, all other ground are like sinking sand. So I made this video about Mike Johnson,
I watched it. Yeah.
literally a couple weeks, I think a couple of days after something came out that he was one of the politicians that opposed a bill. So I forgot where people said. I'd have to pull up the comments. In a country that opposed, he was part of that opposed a ban on abortion for one of the states where I think he was a. I was a little bit shocked by it. Literally a couple days after. So you have a man who's talking about the Lord, talking about, okay, every day I start my day in prayer. He was showing the chapel, and then you hear that and you're like, what's going on? So it's when your political interests are attacked, you're gonna have to put this to the side to stay in power. So that's what happened with Mike Johnson, and
Mm-hmm.
he just kept on compromising until this day. So yeah, that video didn't age really well, but that's it. That's people in politics for you. So I made another video. Charlie Kirk was on stage. That's also my problem with the conservative movement as well. It's like, what is conservative actually? So I've always asked myself that. What does it mean to be a conservative?
Mm-hmm.
Hence why I don't like identify as a conservative. I always tell people I am a believer in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a MAGA person. I'm not a conservative.
Right.
And now going back to Charlie Kirk to give you an illustration. So I did this video, about Christians, people profess to be Christians and they just compromise. So there was an event that Turning Point USA had done years ago that happened, and it was Charlie Kirk on stage with Candace Owens, and then with this black dude, a gay conservative, pretty much.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. So a guy from the audience, a believer, said, "How are you as a Christian fighting for conservatism? How are you fighting for that? And yet, again, here you are on stage with someone who's in a relationship, a man who's in a relationship with another man, right? How do you define that? How do you deal with that?" And Charlie Kirk, he had nothing to say.
What are you supposed to say?
What are you supposed to say? Yeah,
you're using it as a means to an end. You want to become popular.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, doesn't the Bible say that there is no partnership between light and darkness? So here you are on stage, you are conservative, and you claim to believe in Jesus Christ. You claim to, you say that the Bible is the best book ever written, in the history of the world. Jesus Christ is this and that. You believe in the gospel, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. And yet again, here you are on stage with someone who has no care and no part with Christ, and wouldn't need and care to believe in the Christ that you claim to believe in, and you're fighting for conservatism, and yet again, your ally is somebody who has nothing to do with Christ or the idea of conservatism per se. So then he kind of like mumbled a little bit when he heard the question, and then the guy doubled down on the question. The guy went a bit more explicit on it. How are you calling yourself a Christian and trying to fight for conservatism or the conservation of families, and then you have a guy, having intercourse with another guy? What is that? And he couldn't answer, and then he said, "Well, why are you asking me? Why don't you ask the gay guy on stage?" I just
Wow.
I was laughing.
Wow.
I'm a centrist at heart. I'm a center right guy. Being from Akron, Ohio, being from the great state of Ohio, which I'm so proud of, that taught me every value that I have today other than the military. So it was Ohio and the military that taught me these values that I'm really proud of. I believe that we have more in common than we do that separates us.
We now understand that sexual liberation is political control. It's a form of political control. And you have multiple times advocated on behalf of accepting homosexuality, accepting homosexual acts as normative in the conservative movement. How does sex help us win the culture war?
I'm going to let the gay man answer.
Wait a minute. So can I ask you a question? Can you have the balls to ask the gay man on the stage that question and don't defer to him? Ask me that question. I will answer you that question.
How does...
I'm going to answer you. You already asked the question, so I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to ask you that question. This is America. This is the greatest freaking nation in the world. We realize that America is great because we have Western values. We realize that, let me finish, dude. We realize that gays and lesbians are able to contribute to American society in the same way that everybody else is. And let me tell you, when you continue doing that, okay, you realize that we are here. We are able to do everything. And let me tell you something as well. I served in the military, right? I served 5 years. I did an Iraq turn. What's up?
How does homosexual sex help us win the culture war?
Who said homosexual sex helps you win the culture war?
That's the question that I'm asking. Why are you promoting it?
Well, it's a BS question, and you know it is. It's not. It's a question that is not being. It's not a good faith question.
So I'm
it's
gonna
not.
be,
It's the dude.
I'm
It's
gonna
not
be
a good
honest,
faith question.
Rob, honestly, I don't care what two consenting adults do. So that's
the whole thing.
and your hyper focus on it is kind of weird. Thanks for being
you
here.
seem to.
He got a little graphic there. I don't know if we want to. I think we might want to bleep that out.
Yeah, we can take it out.
So just so you guys know, he was talking about intercourse between two men. That's the refined version of it. So I don't think we need to expose you to what he said. I think he was trying to be provocative. And then, did you hear what Charlie Kirk said?
I didn't hear. Tell me what he said. Yeah, I'm going to let the gay man answer that. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's almost laughing about it too.
He's laughing about
making
it.
a mockery of it. But why is he on the stage? Why is he sharing the stage here?
I don't know.
Situation? Unless he's trying to transform, unless he's trying to provide some salvation to this man and say, I really have to urge you to consider, talking with me seriously about your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and your current activities in your personal relationship.
So you see the goal here, we're not side by side looking toward Christ. We are side by side looking towards, we are side by side, let me say that again, looking towards power, taking over the culture. This is not about Christ. Hence why it's easy. By the way, this is not some 33rd ranking member of TPUSA. This is the founder of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk. So
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. This is major compromise. It's from top to bottom. So major compromise. And I let's just watch this for a little bit. You see, that's the argument. This is America, Well, and Charlie Kirk is not going to say anything. He's just going to stay silent. If I play this for look at him. Yeah. So
Wow.
let's just. I mean, how do you do that? I don't see myself in any setting with what I'm doing today, with 1 million, 2 million, 2 millions, 5 millions, 10 million subscribers, accepting that. And that's the problem. Once you start having this kind of following, certain people are going to come to you. And once you tell them where you stand, that's when the persecution starts. So I'm going to have to be willing to lose this channel as opposed to compromise.
You have to.
You have to be willing.
You've been called to do.
Yeah.
You have no choice. All humanity is commanded to worship the one true God, and the fundamental reason, the fundamental plan of God, as far as nations are concerned, is to bless the nations that acknowledge Him and the true God. We're not talking about personal salvation, right? We're talking about a national recognition of who is the true God, and these people we see here, they're turning that away from God. It's what's happening on the stage right there is a no, Western values. America is all about accepting this stuff. And so if you accept that, you make that one exception, there's going to be more. There's going to be more. And it's never going to stop. It's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
After,
Because the moment you start moving, I think I've said that multiple times. The moment somebody tells you to do one thing, and it goes against what you believe, your beliefs, the moment that you do it, there is no stopping point.
Mm-mm.
You know,
Mm-mm.
it was the same thing with this whole mask thing. Back 2 years ago, when they asked certain churches, you either stay open, or you either wear masks and social distance and stay open, or you close. And some churches, they say, you know what, we're not going to wear masks, we're not going to social distance, and we're not going to close. The
And
moment
they
you
got
start,
arrested. Yeah.
yeah, multiple
Mm-hmm.
pastors got arrested. There were like multiple lawsuits, happening. The moment that you agree to, you know what, okay, we want to stay open, we'll wear a masks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you wear masks. Well, are you gonna agree to not having 5,000 people and maybe having
Mm-hmm.
200 people instead?
Mm-hmm.
Well, already said that you're gonna wear a mask, and what's another thing? Then they're gonna tell
Mm-hmm.
you, well, you can't do services twice a day on a Sunday.
Not
You have
unless
to
they're vaccinated.
now, unless they're vaccinated, because you've already
Mm-hmm.
accepted masks. And then what's that? Then can you have your people vaccinated? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like every time. So the moment you accept one thing, it is just, there's no telling what they're gonna ask you next, and there's no telling where your compromised heart is going to stop. Because the moment that your heart and mind has compromised on something, you've become confused, right? You've become confused. And I think that's what happened also with a lot of false teachers. Once you start twisting certain areas of the Bible, there's no telling what else you will twist. Hence why, when I tell people to mark and avoid false teachers, it's serious. Because you may know that, oh, they're only preaching about money, they got everything else right. Well, you would be surprised at how much they got wrong, about scripture. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video. In case you're wondering, this is part of a podcast that we recorded last week, and we'll post it at some point this week. Let me know what you think about the new Bible that Donald Trump is promoting. What do you think about him as a person, as a president, and also as a Christian, since he claims to be a Christian? Let us know what you think about this episode, and let us know if you'd like to see more episodes like that. With love in Christ, John Henry with the Gospel of Christ.